there. Be honest with yourself. How often do you scroll through social media comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel? How often is your inner critic louder than your dreams, tearing you down before you even have a chance to build yourself up? How often do you replay every mistake like it defines who you are? This is what we do to ourselves every day. Every harsh thought, every unfair comparison, every time we let fear stop us. It's like sticking another label on, covering up the truth of who we are. But here's the thing, these labels, they're not the truth. They're lies. And the longer we wear them, the harder it is to see the person underneath. For the longest time, I let these labels define me. I compare myself endlessly, scrolling through social media and envying people who seem to have it all. I'd look at these talentless hacks making bank and think, why not me? And worse, I'd tear myself apart over mistakes from years ago, replaying them in my head as if they proved I wasn't enough. Every breakup, every harsh word, every failure stuck to me like these post-its. I let them shape me. I let them shape how I saw myself until one day, after the hardest breakup of my life, I hit my breaking point. I was so weighed down by these labels that I couldn't even move forward. So I tried something different. I told myself, okay, just be kind. If all I can do today is go to work or pick up groceries, that's enough. I started small, but with every tiny act towards kindness for myself, it was like peeling off another post-it. Slowly, but surely, I started to see myself again. Not the failure, not the not good enough, but me. And let me tell you, when you start showing yourself kindness, it's like taking a deep breath after being underwater for far too long. So here's my question to you. What labels have you been sticking on yourself? What lies have you been carrying that are holding you back? And more importantly, are you ready to let them go? Because the truth, no one else is gonna stop it for you. No one else will fight for your value if you don't. So what will you do about it? Too long. Let's figure it out together. Let's talk about that inner critic, the one that never seems to take a day off. You know the voice. It's the one that screams, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, why even bother, you always mess things up. It's no wonder you're such a loser, you're pathetic, a failure. But here's the thing, that voice doesn't define you. It's just noise, a misguided attempt by your mind to protect you. Your inner critic's job is to shield you from pain, embarrassment, or failure. It's like a safety mechanism saying, don't try, because if you don't try, you can't fail. But the problem is this kind of protection isn't helpful. It's a cage built from fear, doubt, and overthinking. And the longer you stay in it, the harder it becomes to see your potential beyond the bars. But here's the good news. You can reframe that voice. You can stop letting it control you, and it starts with a single question. Is this thought true? When your mind tells you, I'm such a failure, challenge it. Ask yourself, am I really a failure, or did I just make a mistake? What can I learn from this? Mistakes don't define you. They teach you. Every single lesson, every single person makes them. The difference is people who grow don't make mistakes shrink them. Instead, they use them as stepping stones. So next time your inner critic rears its head, try this. Pause and question it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or is it holding me back? Most of the time you'll realize that it's just fear talking, and fear, it isn't always right. Find the good inside of you. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, look for the good. What are your strengths? What have you done right? Even if it's something small, celebrate it. The little shift in focus is the start of silencing your inner critic. Start small. If your inner critic is overwhelming, don't try to overhaul it overnight. Start small. Be kind to yourself in one moment today. Maybe it's saying something, okay, I made a mistake, but I'm learning, I'm growing, or I got through today and that's enough. Small acts of self-compassion can build into a stronger foundation of self-worth over time. But let's shift gears for a second. You've probably spent time focusing on what's wrong with you, your mistakes, your flaws, the things you wish were different. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you focused on what's good about you? What are your strengths? What makes you proud of yourself? Because the truth is, you can always find something wrong if that's what you're looking for. But just as easily, you can find what's right. Your abundance, your unique value, the things that make you who you are. Start small. Maybe you're a great listener, someone who makes people feel safe. Maybe you're really good at making the perfect cup of coffee or solving problems under pressure. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering, it just has to be you. Here's a simple exercise. Take a moment right now and write down 3 things you're proud of. It could be something as small as getting through a tough day, or as big as crushing a goal. When you shift your focus to your strengths, you begin to build your self-worth from the inside out. And trust me, this isn't just self-help fluff. This is how you rewrite your inner narrative. You stop letting your flaws define you and start building what's already good within you, because it's there. You just have to look for it. Here's another trap we fall into: neglecting self-care. Taking time to play games, binge Netflix, or enjoy your favorite junk food, totally fine. Life is meant to be enjoyed. When escaping reality becomes your default, when it feels easier than facing life, that's when it becomes a problem. Neglecting self-care is a quiet thief of worth. It tells you, I'm not worth the effort, even if you don't say it out loud. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is push through hard moments. Take that walk, cook a nourishing meal, prioritize your sleep. These acts may seem small, but they carry a loud message. I respect myself enough to care for my body, my mind, and energy. Looking after yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. When you show up for yourself, even in small ways, you're saying, I matter, I'm worth this, and that's a game changer. But here's the thing, even if you start questioning your inner critic, there's another trap that can pull you down just as fast: seeking validation from others. Think about it. How often do you let someone else's opinion define your value? It's one thing to silence your inner critic, but what about that external critic? The likes, the comments, the attention, or the lack of it. The praise you crave or the criticism you dread. When you rely on external validation to feel worthy, you're handing over control of your self-worth to others. And the truth is, no one, not your friends, not your followers, or even your family, can give you the validation you need. That has to come from within. Here's the tricky part. The world we live in is built to make you crave validation. Social media is engineered to reward likes and shares, making it all too easy to measure your worth by the approval of others. But the problem with this, external validation is fleeting. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. It'll never be enough. That's a bucket, by the way. Let me be real with you. There was a time in my life when I let this consume me. I'd scroll through social media, envious of these talentless hacks, making more money and getting more attention when I felt stuck in the daily grind. I tied my worth to how others saw me, and it crushed me every time their opinion didn't match my expectations. The truth is, chasing external validation is exhausting. It's a game you never win because the rules keep changing and the goalposts are always moving. But when you stop seeking validation from others and start validating yourself, that's when everything changes. So how do you make that shift? Let's talk about it. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to lose sight of your worth. It's like watching someone else's highlight reel and comparing it to your behind the scenes footage. Social media is engineered to make you feel like you're falling short, but here's the truth. You're not seeing the full picture. Instead of letting comparison pull you down, use it to inspire you. If someone has something you admire, let it motivate you to take action, but always remember, your journey is your own. Don't compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. The most important shift you can make is rewriting the story you tell yourself. Those labels, those lies, they started when we were young, and maybe they served a purpose back then, but now they're outdated. Ask yourself, what story are you telling about your life? Is it, I'll never be good enough, or I have the potential to grow every day? The story you tell becomes your reality. So why not make it a story worth living? Create a compelling vision of yourself. What does that version of you with unshakable self-worth look like? How do they treat themselves? How do they handle challenges? Start stepping into that version of yourself, one small intentional step at a time. Your self-worth isn't selfish, it's essential. When you give to yourself, you have more to give to others. But it starts with recognizing that you are enough right now. No one else can fight for your worth if you don't. So stop waiting, stop hiding, start taking action toward the life you deserve. And once the foundation is strong, it's time to look outward and start building externally. This is where unstoppable confidence comes in. And if you're ready to take that next step and create a presence that matches your inner worth, click here. Let's build that unshakable confidence together.